What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Wednesday, February 21st, 2024, and we are back on the Torian Rain Reloaded channel with another midday stream. Before I go ahead and get into all of the information, make sure y'all go ahead and hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, welcome to the channel. Hit the subscribe button. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat thus far. Shout out to all of my patrons over on Patreon, all the members of the channel over here. Shout out to everybody on Instagram, Twitter, and Discord, and everyone who sends me stories. So as y'all can see by the title today, we are going to be talking about some South of the Borderian / not so secret invasioner illegal migrant madness, because a lot has been going on in these last couple of weeks. I've been talking about them here and there on my channel in individual videos. I've talked about them in my weekly live streams, and now I'm giving a whole dedication stream just to them. So before I go ahead and get into everything, let me acknowledge those who are in the chat so far. I have Alana B, Lays Eagles 215, Diane Scott, Wallow J, Haxon KT, Kendall, Jerry Bedford, Denise Scales, Don P. Ben Yehuda, PR Housequake, Kazama Fury, Demarcus Vaughn, Cameron Jones, Key Prince, Nikita Ivy, Bonnie 1013, Damon Reeves, Code Red 713, TS, Black First Coffee, and I'm sorry, Dewani Nelson and Kells 517. Shout out to everybody that's in here so far. Again, if you haven't done so already, make sure to go ahead and hit that like button. I will greatly appreciate it. We also have Judah Queen and DC Precise, Crew Reality, and DSB. The Geek Surgeon has just entered the chat. We have over 100 people in here so far, and I haven't even gotten into the topics yet. But yeah, this stream initially only had 3 stories. Initially, it was only 3 stories in a video. But over the last couple of days, I was literally hit almost like a dump with more stories to talk about as it pertains to this, unbeknownst to the people posting it in the Discord, that I was even going to do this stream. So I said this all works itself out, because initially I was going to let them be pre-recorded videos, but I said, nah, it's all happening at one time. Let me talk about them all at one time. Hence why we have this stream today. And I think it's something that, again, we've been talking about over here. Shout out to various people in the new Black media who have been talking about it and continue to talk about it, because it is most definitely an issue. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and just get started. And what I made sure to do is I wanted to arrange the news stories in order that they came out in, so you can see where this stemmed from and to where it is now. And a lot of these stories don't even happen in the same location or with the same group of people. Because understand this, just because I'm calling them South of the Borderian or not so secret invasionists does not mean it's only just people from south of the border coming in here. There are also people coming in who are not from that particular countries, but they're still using that southern border to get in here. And you'll see what I mean as we go along with the stream. So with that being said, let me go ahead and share my screen. And the first one I'm going to talk about is coming out of Florida, and it was posted 4 weeks ago, January 22nd. So we're talking about a month ago when this was posted. And the title of the video is Venezuelan Gang Operating in Florida Linked to Retired Cops Killing. So let's see what they're talking about on here.
Venezuelan crime is making its way right here to the United States. Police say one criminal gang that has been causing havoc throughout Latin America is now in South Florida, and at least one of its members was involved in a recent murder. Jorge Ventura joins us live with more. Jorge, this has been a growing concern across the United States. What more can you share with us this morning?
Yeah, that's right, Marky. Venezuela's largest criminal organization is now operating inside the United States in cities like Chicago and Miami. Sources telling News Nation that known members from a Venezuelan prison gang named Tren de Aragua have joined the millions of Venezuelans leaving the country on the way to the U.S. The Miami Herald is reporting that an alleged member and a Venezuelan migrant is now being charged with murder of a retired Venezuelan police officer in South Florida. According to police reports, a 23-year-old Yerwin Salazar played a role in luring, abducting, and killing that officer in late November. Violent crimes like this murder are common in Venezuela and are a major reason why hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans are leaving the country. Members of the gang.
Now, let me pause it right there. What have I been telling y'all since last year? For those of y'all who have been following me since last year when the influx started to come in, I said whatever they were doing back at home, they're going to come here and do it here. What did that news reporter just say? These gangs were operating in Venezuela, and they're basically bringing their gang activity from there over here. They're here. It's not a thing of they're coming over. They are here. And this is in Florida, by the way.
Openly pose with weapons on social media and are known to have a tattoo of a train. I spoke with immigration lawyer based in South Florida who represents Venezuelan migrants. He tells me many of them have been extorted and kidnapped by Tren de Aragua members and fear for their lives now here in the U.S. And even he has faced death threats for calling attention to the gang's crimes.
They're carrying out their criminal activity. They're extorting, they're sex trafficking, they're trafficking drugs, murders, contract killings. I've been threatened by this group. The green light to go ahead and kill me. That's the word they use.
Now, while Salazar is arrested and charged, law enforcement officials in South Florida are still looking for 4 other suspects connected to that murder in November and believe that some of those suspects could be connected to that Venezuelan prison gang. Marky.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
And they said this happened back in November. And this was just reported at the end of January. So you're talking about roughly about 2 months later since that actually happened. So again, whatever they were doing in their homeland, they're bringing it here. And they're just allowed to just come right on in and just do what they want. So that's that story right there. This is another one right here, and I think it's about the same gang. Hold on, let me share this tab. This one right here is also about the same exact gang that they just talked about in the previous video. But before I get into that, shout out to Savion Draco Zero for the $5 super chat. They said, instead of always wasting money focusing on us for dumb reasons, they need to focus on these bastards. Oh, they are focused on them. They're finding a way to try to make them a citizen. That's their focus. So let's see what this is when it's talking about. It says FBI agent, others warn of Venezuelan gang entering into the U.S.
Well, it is now time for our Reporter's Cut, where we highlight all the stories our reporters have been working on. Now, this is a story you will only see on 9. FBI says a Venezuelan gang called Tren de Aragua has made its way to the borderland.
Yeah, that's right. This rapidly expanding gang has spread throughout South America and now into our communities, posing a threat to borderland families. Our Oriana Batoro reports.
Fastest growing transnational criminal organization known as the Tren de Aragua is a Venezuelan gang that has now infiltrated its way into the United States through various sectors of the U.S.-Mexico border.
That here in El Paso, Tren de Aragua gang members who are identified are put into prosecution pathways for 1325 illegal entry into the United States.
According to a CNN report from Border Patrol, 38 suspected members from the Tren de Aragua have been arrested between 2022 and 2023.
When they come to a new place, they do it.
Now, peep the year she just gave between 2022 and 2023, which means they've been coming over here before last year, before they really started to open up the borders and let them come on in. So they were probably just trickling on in. But then when they open up that border, now they can flood in.
Oftentimes through immigrant pathways, taking.
And shout out to Denise Scales for the $10 super sticker.
Advantage of people from within their own community.
Tren de Aragua is taking advantage of the mass Venezuelan exodus to make their way into the country, and now they are ramping up crime in U.S. cities like Miami and Chicago.
They typically operate mostly on migrant smuggling and human trafficking. Those are their two big criminal enterprises.
But why exactly are they a threat to the borderland?
They also use forms of extortion by going to local businesses that are owned by these migrant communities. And if they don't pay a tax, they extort that money from them.
This can bring an increase in crime into our community, including human smuggling and sex trafficking.
And so the same thing what's happening in South America is now going to start happening here in the United States amongst these Venezuelan communities in the U.S.
The main issue being that the Tren de Aragua is almost operating in the shadows, making it harder for law enforcement to track them.
That's exactly what I thought. She said they operate in the shadows, making it harder for them to track because they can't pinpoint who is in that gang and who isn't, because it's not like they're wearing a certain attire to let people know that's who they are. They're just blending in with the rest of them, just wearing regular plain clothing, and you would never know. That's how they're able to move and to shake themselves out of being caught until something pops off and they do get caught.
We have no idea on who they are because we don't have their criminal records from Venezuela. And a lot of times they also, because they operate with impunity inside of Venezuela, the only other way that we'd be able to do it is if they had a criminal record either in Colombia or Peru.
And with the historic numbers in record crossings, many of these gang members could continue making their way into the country.
I can't tell.
And they will.
Whether that man that comes across the border is either a criminal or an actual refugee.
Well, here's the thing. If y'all would have just, like, I don't know, not open up the border to any of them, you wouldn't have this problem. See, this is what they get. See, they thought this was a way of sticking it to black people, but now they have a bigger problem on their hands because it's not only going to affect black people, it's going to affect everybody. That's why I told people, I said, it doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum they may be on. People was laughing and giggling when Governor Wills was sending all of those South of the Borderians and not so secret invasionists to Chicago and all types of stuff like that, and saying, oh, this is what the Democrats get. Oh, look what Biden done did and everything. Do y'all not see that this was a team effort? Because guess where they sent them? They sent them to black neighborhoods first. Now they've come in droves so much since then, they just land and plant themselves wherever they want. They tell them to go left, they go right. They tell them to go up, they go down. Now you have an ever-growing population, ever-growing problem on your hands that you cannot get control of. Because guess what? Governor Wills could have easily turned them back around. Why didn't he? He said, y'all want to be a sanctuary city? Fine, I'm going to send them to you. I'm like, y'all, some of y'all are getting so excited and laughing at this because it's Joe Biden. But I'm like, do y'all not see the bigger picture here of what that's going to cause? Now people are seeing it. And by people, I'm talking about PC. Because now they're the ones crying and boo-hooing all over the damn place. Well, there you go. Welcome your new neighbors. Those are your new neighbors. I hope you're carrying. But see, when you deal with a group of people that think they're invincible and untouchable, this is what happens.
And because of that, we're just releasing everybody with each other.
We did reach out to Border Patrol agents to see if they could disclose any information regarding the Tren de Aragua, but since this is an ongoing investigation, there's not much that they can share with us at this time. Reporting from the U.S.-Mexico border, Oriana Botaro, KTSM 9 News.
All right, so you got that part right there. So that's that one. So now that y'all seen some of the, I guess you can say videos, I'm going to go into now some of the articles that I have as it pertains to this. Now, the first two videos or stories that y'all saw dealt with that gang. That was between the end of January and about 2 weeks ago. This one, I believe, came out the same week as that last one, but this time it's talking about something completely different. Now, remember what I told you. They start off small. It could be theft. It could be assault of any degree. Things of that nature. But what happens when it segues into taking of a life? such as this story right here coming out of Texas. SOB, wanted for homicide, convicted child predator arrested at the border. So this person not only took somebody out, but they're also a danger to children. Border Patrol reveals that more than 160 illegal immigrants with gang affiliations have been apprehended at the southern border so far this fiscal year. Border Patrol agents in Texas have made significant arrests this week, with an illegal immigrant wanted for homicide apprehended, along with a migrant who is a convicted P-word. U.S. Border Patrol Chief Jason Owens posted on X Monday that a Mexican national with an active warrant for homicide in Louisiana has been captured. Another dangerous criminal kept off of our streets. How long is the question? The man's identities and the details of the homicide case were not revealed, although Owens did post a mugshot of the suspect. And that is the mugshot right here. As a matter of fact, it was posted in my thumbnail. On Tuesday, Owens posted images of another Mexican national who had been arrested. USBP agents in Laredo, Texas, arrested another child predator trying to enter our country illegally. This subject, a Mexican national, served 10 years in prison for the molestation of a minor, a felony conviction. He will be presented to the AUSA for prosecution under 8 USC 1326. Owens posted a mugshot of the man and two other photos revealing the suspect's distinctive tattoos, and he was not named. Late last month, Border Patrol agents covering the Del Rio and Rio Grande Valley in Texas nabbed 2 child sex offenders with prior felony convictions. The latest apprehensions come as border agents revealed they have caught more than 160 illegal immigrants with gang affiliations so far this year. Keep in mind, they haven't been here a whole year yet. These gangs, known as PISAs or MS1, MS-13, etc., are involved with murder, extortion, narcotics, weapons, human trafficking, and prostitution. This is a threat to our safety and why we need agents patrolling the border. Meanwhile, the Border Patrol chief told the story in an exclusive interview on Wednesday that the now doomed Senate border bill contained both improvements to existing policies and negative points, but should have been considered a fair compromise. As long as there's no action coming out of Congress, we are languishing in the same situation. So I don't think there's anybody that says that the bills has to have everything we need in order for us to accept it. That's why we have compromise. So there you have that right there. Again, this is who is being sent over. Not even being sent over at this point. This is who's running over here. I'm telling y'all, it's real spooky out here. It's real crazy out here. And if that doesn't make it any worse, check this next story out, which basically piggybacks off of the one I just read. But I believe it's adding in additional people. Now, that previous story was posted February 8th, 2024. This one was posted February 13th, 2024. Illegal migrants with murder, child sex convictions arrested at the border. One, in fact, had a conviction for homicide, while 6 are felony sex offenders, including a conviction for the violation of a child. Now y'all see why I titled this stream Illegal Migrant Madness. Border Patrol agents arrested several illegal migrants with serious criminal convictions over the past weekend, including one with a murder conviction and 6 who are felony child violators. And shout out to Jerry Bedford for the $20 super chat. He says, thanks for staying on top of this. Most definitely. Listen, this is a lot of content right here. U.S. Border Patrol Chief Jason Owens posted on X that agents in Ysleta and Fort Hancock in Texas arrested 2 dangerous criminals. And here are their pictures, their mugshots or pictures right here. One of them had a conviction for homicide, while the other had convictions for manslaughter, shooting with intent to kill, and robbery. Owens posted pictures of the 2 men who are heavily tattooed. It is unclear where they are from, although one of them, who is a skinhead, which I'm assuming would be this guy right here, has a tattoo reading Mexican on the back left of his arm. In another post on X on Monday, Owens wrote that USBP agents along the southwestern border apprehended 6 of them with felony sex convictions. Owens wrote that their criminal histories include statutory violations of a minor, aggravated sex assault of a child, lewd and lascivious acts with a minor under 14, as well as abusive sexual conduct. Owens did not say where the sex criminals were from, but posted a photo of at least 2 of them being arrested. The apprehensions followed other significant arrests at the border last week. Owens announced that a man wanted for homicide was caught along with a South of the Borderian who was a convicted child violator. Owens also said that more than 106. I don't have to read that part because that was in the previous article. The Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE, report for fiscal 2023 shows that the number of illegal immigrants on the non-detailed docket has soared from 3.7 million in 2021, in fiscal year 2021, to nearly 4.8 million in fiscal year 2022, to nearly 6.2 million in fiscal year 2023. So as you can see, the numbers continue to just jump higher and higher and higher every year. From 2021 to 2022, it jumped pretty much a little over 1 million. From 2022, it jumped about almost 2 million. I'm sorry, from 2022 to 2023, it jumped almost 2 million. So I can only imagine what the numbers are going to look like for 2024. Let me read what some of y'all are saying in the chat. Darlene said, these folks are sick, need to be worried about them. Exactly. This is why we're doing these commentaries, because it's not being talked about the way that it should be. This is a major concern right here that we're discussing. And then on top of that, I know I have some subscribers who live in Texas, so I'm concerned for their safety. And no, I just had somebody who came up and spoke on my midday live stream the other day where they were mentioning how they were in Jersey and how they got attacked by one of these SOBs. Haxon said, did you get the story I sent on the SOB stealing from the Amazon driver? If you sent it to the DM on Patreon, I probably did. I need to look at it. In that case, or I may talk about it on here. I mean, because since it's right lined up with the topic of discussion, I can look it up on here. So that's that story. Now, remember at the beginning what I told y'all about how the South of the Borderian, or the not so secret invasion, or at least the ones that's coming from South America, they're not the only ones you have to worry about. There's other groups that you need to worry about. Well, let me guide you into the direction of one of these other groups. And that group is the Chinese. So this is coming from the Washington Examiner, February 13th, 2024. Hundreds of Chinese immigrants arrested by California Border Patrol in a single day. Let me say that again. Hundreds of Chinese immigrants arrested by California Border Patrol in a single day. Not a week, not a month, but one day. California Border Patrol agents arrested more than 200 Chinese immigrants who were attempting to illegally enter the United States through San Diego on Monday. This is as in last Monday. A total of 269 Chinese immigrants were arrested in California in the one day, according to a Fox News correspondent. 269 in a day. The number highlights an escalation in immigrants attempting to enter the U.S. from China, raising fears over the country's influence in the states. Some national security experts have voiced concern that the Chinese government could be sneaking spies into the country via illegal immigration, but others have claimed that it would be an unusual method for China, which has historically used Chinese citizens in the U.S. through visas to steal state secrets. Michelle Thorne Bond, a former assistant secretary of state, said using illegal border crossings would be unusual for China, but admitted that China's refusal to back its own citizens was also odd. It would be a pretty random way to place your agents, Bond told the Daily Mail. The arrest put fiscal 2024 on the path to surpassing the Chinese arrest last year. In 2023, there were 37,000 Chinese arrests, but there have already been 20,000 arrests in the current fiscal year. In 2021, the total amount of Chinese interactions with the U.S. Customs and Border Protection was 451, according to Fox News. The sudden immigration spike could come from Chinese nationals fleeing the communist state due to President Xi Jinping's repressive political culture and economic slug in the country, or as a result of its draconian woo-woo restrictions. I'm telling y'all, it's madness out here. It is madness. Okay, Haxon, I found the article that you sent me. I'll put it up there. I'll talk about it. The title alone already got me mind blown just off of the title. I want to know, what does Diane Yap have to say about this? What does Kenny Zhu have to say about this? What does Ian Cheong have to say about this? Or any of those other anti-Black Asian Americans? What do they have to say about this? Probably nothing. But I figured I'd ask. You know, why not? So, as you can see, it's not just who we usually talk about that's coming over here legally, it's them as well. And I'm sure there's other groups doing the same exact thing. But it's good that we cover it all. So now we move on from that and we move to this one. Now we're going to Illinois, Chicago, dated February 16, 2024. Illinois is pumping $250 million more dollars in taxpayer funds to help illegal SOBs in Chicago. Not $250 million off just the first time, but $250 million more dollars, as in on top of what they've already dumped in it. The state of Illinois and Cook County have announced plans to allocate up to an additional $252 million to house, feed, and provide other services to illegal immigrants arriving in Chicago this year, although Chicago's progressive and rather brain dead Mayor Johnson appears to be holding out on committing more funds to the ongoing crisis, at least for now. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker has pledged around $182 million, while Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle, what a name, has committed up to $70 million more for the joint funding plan to ensure migrants sent to Chicago from the Texas border shelter will have access to wraparound services and health care. All the stuff that should be going to us, they're giving it to them. It comes on top of the state committing $160 million in November to illegal immigrants to welcome, shelter, and independence. That commitment was in addition to the $478 million the state has spent since the start of the response, according to a press release. More than 35,000 migrants have been transported to Chicago and its suburbs over the past year and a half. Despite this influx, recent data from the city indicates a decline in the number of SOBs staying at the shelters, with figures dropping to their lowest point in months. As of Tuesday, the number of SOBs in shelters has fallen below 13,000, marking a decrease from peaks observed in mid and early January when the count reached nearly 15,000. That's fine in shelters, but the thing is, where did they go after they left the shelter? That's the question we should be asking. Where did they go after they left the shelter? With thousands of asylum seekers continue to come to Chicago, I don't know why they call them asylum seekers, because they're not seeking asylum, but whatever. In desperate need of support, and with Congress continuing to refuse to act, it is clear the state, county, and city will have to do more to keep people safe, Pritzker said in a statement. It's like y'all give the resolution of what should be done, but y'all still letting the problem come in and literally shit all over the resolution. I'm thankful President Preckwinkle for working with us to help close this budget gap and maintain critical services in the year ahead. The state's funding proposal will be part of the governor's upcoming fiscal year 2025 budget proposal to the General Assembly. Meanwhile, Cook County, the most populous county in the state, located in the upper northeastern section of Illinois, has already committed more than $100 million in its current fiscal year 2024 budget for new SOB costs, primarily for health care. All the stuff that should be going to us, they're giving to them. Health care. So y'all should be very upset that you got to pay all this money into healthcare, yours and probably theirs, so they can get what looks to me like could be the equivalent of free healthcare. As critical funding for this ongoing humanitarian crisis stalls in Congress, they call it a humanitarian thing, Cook County stands committed to the well-being of the region. We cannot wait for additional resources, and Cook County is proud to stand alongside Governor Pritzker in this joint funding plan, ensuring that shelter capacity, healthcare, and wraparound services remain accessible to those in need. What about the people that pay taxes there? Aren't they in need? With a population of around 5.2 million people, Cook County is the second most populous county in the United States after Los Angeles County based on 2020 census figures. Illinois has a population of nearly 13 million. The county, through its health and hospital system, has been the primary healthcare provider for SOBs and has served more than 25,000 patients and provided for nearly 70,000 visits across the health system. Visits include comprehensive medical exams and care, including physical exams, testing, lab services, standard vaccinations, complete school physicals, and pediatric vaccines, as well as behavioral health screenings and counseling, care coordination, and prescription medication. The county also provides follow-up care as needed. Look at all of that. They're just giving them. They're just giving. Now, Put a 1 in the chat if this would be considered a handout. The joint funding announcement comes after state, county, and city teams estimated that around $321 million is needed to maintain shelter and services this calendar year on top of previously committed funding. That would leave around $70 million to be allocated by the city of Chicago and Mayor Johnson. When pressed by reporters on Thursday after the announcement, he said there are a number of matters that need to be worked through. Johnson mentioned that Pritzker pledged $65 million late last year to winterize an encampment, which the state never came through on. He said that the city of Chicago is solely responsible for providing emergency temporary shelter. Remember, they've committed to 2,000 beds back in November. Do you remember that? And see, this is what happens when you become a sanctuary city. That's why in the article they kept saying what they had to do. Not that they wanted to do it, but that they had to do. But because they're a sanctuary city, that is why the verbiage is the way that it is. It feels like it's an obligation. Nadine said, this is pissing me off. Join the club, and shout out to the 402 people that are in this chat right now at 12:41 Eastern time on a Wednesday. Shout out to y'all. I find it interesting though that when I was doing I gotta like get on y'all a little bit. I find it interesting how on Monday on President's Day, when people was off from work, when I did that midday stream on President's Day, I only had like 240 some people in there on days that y'all were off, but on the days y'all are at work, y'all want to be attentive. Y'all want to be all up in the chat. But I get it. I understand. Y'all, this is the one y'all love when I talk about this. So I understand. So let me go ahead and talk about this story that Hacksign KT said that he sent to me on Patreon. And I probably saw it, or maybe I didn't, but since it's lining right up with the topic of discussion, why not? So this one is coming out of New York, happened 2 days ago. It says Amazon driver fends off attack from drunk naked NYC migrant and ends up in cuffs. Just the title alone just sounds crazy as hell, the story. A Big Apple Amazon driver said he had to slam a naked and drunk migrant in the head with a snowball. Excuse me. To keep the deranged, and they keep calling them asylum seekers, to keep the deranged SOB from making off with his packages, only to find himself in handcuffs. The SOB, identified by police sources as Yasin Sanchez, age 26, was allegedly stumbling drunk and clutching a beer bottle when the Amazon driver said he caught him red-handed trying to make off with his packages. He was delivering in Clinton Hill around 45 p.m. on a Sunday. That is when things got out of hand. I was unloading my stuff and a guy, he was like a pervert. He had his Johnson out, the driver said, who asked that he only be identified as Abu. Who the hell does he think he is? The little monkey from Aladdin? He's in the corner of the street jacking off, and I told him, hey, what are you doing? Abu added, and he went into my van where all of my mail and everything was at, and I pushed him away, and he ran towards me like he was going to aggressively hit me. Abu said he picked up a piece of ice from the ground and chucked it at the rowdy flasher. I really had to protect myself, who said he couldn't help but think of the recent unprovoked slashing of another Amazon worker in the Bronx. So what I did was look towards the ground, and I saw a big snow pile. I picked up a piece and I socked him with it, and he went down on his ass. The driver then said he spotted some cops nearby and ran to them for help, a no-brainer move that somehow backfired. Now, peep this. The driver is protecting himself from somebody who's clearly off their damn meds or their rocker, coming at them, attacking them, trying to steal their packages. And when they defend themselves, what ends up happening? Sanchez was telling the cops in Spanish that I punched him in the face. I told them there's cameras around and you can probably find something. So he's lying on them. The SOB is lying on this person, and he said he went and told them in Spanish, so he told them in a language that he didn't know. Real crafty this person is. After a while, it turned into a he said, she said thing, and that's how it went. Sanchez, who lives at a shelter just blocks away from the scene on Hall Street, was charged with petty larceny and public lewdness, not attempted theft, by the way. The driver who left the would-be thief with swelling and bruising on his face was charged with third-degree assault and released on a desk appearance ticket. He was trying to aggressively hurt me, and I just protected myself and my property from my job. He maintained on Monday. That is it. I ended up being taken in, and now I have an open case about this. It's ridiculous because I asked the cops for help. I ran to the cops and said, hey, can you please get this guy? I don't want to hurt him. I already hit him with a snowball, and he was pretty hurt. He said he didn't want to do him damage with his hands, which is why he sought help from the police. I didn't want to lose my job. I did things the right way by the books, and I wound up going to jail. When informed by the Post that Sanchez was a SOB, the Amazon worker said that the man was given a chance by being let into this country, and he didn't use it. The driver then recalled that his own father, an illegal immigrant himself, was deported to his native land of the Dominican Republic following a police investigation when his own car was broken into. My dad ended up passing away from being deported because things were bad over there. That always stuck with me after that. I never wanted to tell the police anything, but this time I did. I tried to help myself, and it happened to me now. I'm lucky I'm not an immigrant because I'd probably have to go back to my own country. That's why I hate dealing with the police, because it ends up biting me in the rear end. Hack sign. I can see why you wanted me to talk about this. That was a wild ass story. So see what happens when you defend yourself and you're trying to protect yourself and your job. You're the one that gets hit with the charges. You're the one that gets arrested, while the other one practically just goes away, scot-free. And this is going to continue to happen, y'all. This is going to continue happening as time continues to roll on with these scenarios and these stories. And like someone had said a little while ago, it's going to get warm soon. Spring is around the corner. We are probably a little over a month away, or maybe about a month away from spring kicking in. So when it's time to go outside, they're going to really act the damn fool. They acting a fool outside right now, and it's cold. Exactly, Travis. It's going to be a hot ass summer. Now, the last thing I wanted to touch on was this clip that I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Rob. I don't know. He may not be watching. Blacklight Revelations. He had showed this on his page on this channel. And this is coming out of Jersey. I don't know if Cosma is still in here, but shout out to everybody, all of my subscribers in Jersey. I want y'all to listen to what this South of the Borderian had to say about Black people, specifically Black Americans, and even more specifically Black men. Now, the guy who's talking to him, he has a bit of an accent. I'm not exactly sure where he's from, but it sounds like he might be from the continent. But listen to what this guy says. I sped it up, but I moved it up to the 10-minute mark because it's in this range right here that he says it, because I don't need to play the whole 18.5-minute video because we don't need to be all day for that. So really pay attention to what he said.
It's a big country. It's never too many. It's never too many. Yeah. How many people die in the pandemic? How many people lost their life? They need to replace it. They need to back them up. Yeah. That's what they need the people. People say, why they open the door? They know the reason. They have a number. They working with the system. No, but the system never liar. But they don't have an accurate amount of people cross the border. They don't know. We have enough. I don't know whether they still haven't opened, but we have enough. Okay, let me ask you one question. People are saying, especially the Black people or Morenos, especially them, are saying that when you guys are legal, like you, for example, and you have a company
Now I want y'all to pay attention to that. He said that this guy's legal. Now, some of y'all in the chat, I saw y'all said that y'all saw the clip already, so y'all already know what's about to be said. But for those of y'all that's about to hear this, it's probably going to rile you up a little bit. I'm going to be completely honest with you, especially if you are a black man, because that's where some of the vitriol from him comes is geared toward. So this guy has been here. I think if I remember correctly, he'd say he'd been here for like 30 years or something like that. So it's not like he just got here with the rest of them last year. But the sentiments that he holds is lined right up with your typical dub S. But let me go ahead and play it and y'all can hear for yourself.
You won't hire nobody, especially black people. Is that true?
No.
Have you ever?
It doesn't matter race. If you want to work, work it for anybody.
All right, I beg to differ that because I've seen a lot of Hispanic with businesses. Hold on. I've seen a lot of Hispanic with businesses and I don't see any black people working
Okay, let
with
me
them.
tell you one thing.
Yes.
Black America, they're really difficult to deal with.
Listen, you heard it, right? So this man said, I see a lot of Hispanic-owned businesses, but I don't see a lot of black people working in those businesses. Now, listen to what this guy just said. He said, Black America is difficult to work with. Peep how he did not just say black people in general in the diaspora, because keep in mind, he's telling this to a black man himself, but he's not Black American. He said Black America is difficult to work with. That's why I tell people, do not come to me with this black and brown coalition. It is not there. Even in theory, it does not work. But let me continue.
Respect.
Number one.
Yes.
They're kind of difficult. If you don't know the flow, the way they move.
Black American is difficult to work with.
If you know how to, I know them. You have to know the person, how it is and how to think it. Because you have a conversation depending on how the person is.
Yeah, come this way.
Now listen to what he just said. He knows how Black Americans work just based on conversations he's had with them. So he's basing it off of conversations, not work ethic, but just conversations. And I would almost bet he's probably having some of these conversations with non-Black American people, much like the one he's talking to right now. See how comfortable he was talking shit about Black Americans to a non-FBA person, because he wouldn't dare say that to their face.
The sun is kind of.
Because I'm gonna let you know.
Yes.
They're America. They have paper, okay?
Yes.
When you hire them, they know they're right. When you say do this, they get mad.
Again, what does that sound like? That sounds like every stereotype that could be thrown onto a black person when it comes to the workplace. And what's unfortunate is that you'll have some black people that will sit up there and agree with this guy saying, because they've said it themselves. But they wouldn't dare say that about another group of people. My thing is this: every group of people has their group, has certain people in there that's going to work hard and those who are not. But to make it seem like it's only Black Americans that are not, that is very disingenuous, and it is very false, and it is a downright lie.
He's strong. They're America.
I can see you. Come on. So I want you to say that again. What you say about it? Tell me now.
America.
Black America.
They're America. They know all the right.
How about Jamaicans?
Jamaica's Latino. It is different.
No.
Now listen to what he just said. The black guy said, what about Jamaicans? And he says Jamaican Latinos, they're different. So what did we just learn right there, people? They know the difference between the two. You know how a lot of people saying, oh, Black Americans are FBA, y'all are wrong for delineating and wrong for separating yourselves from the group. They've already done it. Let me run that back for y'all one more time, just in case y'all didn't catch it.
Come on. I want you to say that again. What you say about it? Tell me now.
America.
Black America.
They're America. They know all the right.
How about Jamaicans?
Jamaica's Latino. It is different.
No.
Jamaicans, Latinos, they are different. Now notice the black guy only asked about Jamaicans. He didn't say Latinos. The other guy, this guy brought Latino up into it and said they're different. He was very specific with saying Black Americans don't work in so many words. But when it came to other Black people in the diaspora, they work. But this is who they keep lumping us up into. That's why when I read articles and they talk about black and brownness, I bypass that. When they do that people of color shit, I bypass that. Don't lump me in with that.
No, we're not Latino, really. We're black, just like.
No. Excuse me. It's black by color. We all colored. Black is American. Black. We all black.
Yes.
Being in Jamaica, you are Latino because you Latin. You move for another.
Hold on. Did y'all just say what he said? He said in Jamaican, you're Latino. Oh, Kid Gravity. Are you in the chat right now? Did y'all just hear that? Did he just classify or reclassify Jamaicans as Latino? I know I'm not the only one that just heard that. Crew Reality said Jamaica and Haiti are Latino nations conquered by the Spanish. It is true. Well, I got a question. How many Jamaicans do you know personally go around calling themselves Latino? Because I haven't met one yet that says that has called themselves Latino. The people who I know who are Jamaican call themselves Jamaican. Whether they were born on the island or they're a descendant, and they may have been first generation born, they don't say that I'm Latino. I've never heard that before. Maybe that's new to me. Okay, I'm seeing some people in the chat said they have heard it before, but again, that's news to me. Forgive me, but like I said, I've never heard that before.
Country. By the way, immigrant. Anyway, it's not about that. Black America,
yes.
they angry when they go to work. I'm telling the truth.
Yes.
You tell them do this, they always they can do it or they give you pay. You bring a Latino, they don't have no pay.
Now listen to that. He said when Black Americans go to work, they're always angry. And then he brought up something about the pay. Someone in the chat said earlier, I didn't miss it, but I forgot who said it. Shout out to you. We aren't just going to work for scraps. That's what that is. We want to work for what we feel we are owed, like for the quality of work that's being put in is what we feel we should be paid, especially in this economy. So because we're not working for dust like they would, now we're lazy. We don't want to work. He said we come to work with an attitude. I mean, this guy's pulling out all the stereotypes, and we're only about 2 minutes in. And that's what goes on to that thing of saying, oh, they work harder than we do. When you see how much they get paid, and you can see why, of course they will work for that, because it's scraps. And because we don't want to work for that, then that means that we're not hard workers. Again, another talking point that for some reason, a lot of Black people have seemed to adopt over time. Exactly, level up T. We know our worth. But guess what? When we as Black people, specifically Black Americans, tell people what our worth is, what do they call us? The uppity Negro.
But one thing, you wouldn't expect somebody who is a citizen here work for a little bit of money like you guys. You wouldn't expect that. That's not fair to them.
Because but that's why they need to go get a job. They get prepared. If you know you're right. Why you still in that position?
But I heard that you guys will not work for less than $200 a day. Is that true?
Okay, yes, I do.
Oh, he got him. He got him. So keep in mind, the South of the Borderian said that Black people need to go out and work hard like they do, like for no matter what, and all this, that, and the third. The Black guy came back and said, but y'all, isn't it true that you wouldn't work for less than $20 an hour? Or how much he said it was? He called him, he started to stumble over his word, and he said, yes, that's true. He just contradicted himself. So you're telling me you would rather we don't like that we're lazy and shiftless because we don't work for dust, but on the flip side, you wouldn't work for it either. So what does that make you? I'm just saying. He literally contradicted. He tripped himself up in his own logic. See what happens when you're anti-black? Ask the right questions, circle it back, reword the question, and you will trip them up every single time. Let me run that back because he literally got stuck on that one.
A little bit of money like you guys. You wouldn't expect that. That's not fair to them.
Because but that's why they need to go get a job. They get prepared. If you know you're right. Why you still in that position?
But I heard that you guys will not work for less than $200 a day. Is that true?
Not work for less than $20 a day.
Okay, yes I do. You go to McDonald's, you need $15-20 till you get a meal. How can you work when you have 3 kids and you pay $1,000 rent a month, 3 kids to feed him, clothes, shoes, and right to go to school, babysitting when you get out of school.
True, but beggars.
What you gonna do with $100? $100 is nothing. So you catch it up, it's gone.
I believe you but beggars are not choosers. If you don't have the right papers to work, then you should be able to choose.
Listen, that's back in the 80s. We're not as late. And
he got him again. He said, if you have the right papers, you shouldn't have the right to work. He's basically talking about don't come over here freeloading and think you're just going to get something. If you are an immigrant and you're coming over here illegally, you should not be given anything. But as we have seen with the last story I talked about before playing this clip, what do they get in? A bunch of health care, a bunch of set-asides. You got Eric Adams up there in New York getting them prepaid cards. They got like $9,000 loaded on it per person. Man, woman, and child. No strings attached. They haven't paid not one tax yet. They going out here committing acts of criminality and getting let go right after they do it. Some of them are allowed to flee again to another place to try to escape persecution. And this guy gonna sit up here and have the nerve to talk shit about us.
Doesn't matter, you got to pay for legal or not legal. Working is work. You still want to do the work, you still want to go through, and this is the right for everything. Longer you work, you get paid. You're supposed to get paid the right money, no matter what. Paper, no paper. Because your life and life is time. Your time is your life.
True, but so you don't think that the migrants crisis is affecting New Jersey?
Let me tell you something. To the government.
Yeah.
Boy, they need to figure it out. They give you paper. All the people, they coming new from the legally. They don't have no crime in the United States. They don't have no crime. They never go to court, but they might a lot of them criminal. And they open the door. They have it. People here, they be working for over 20 years, and they know who they are. Why they don't give the paper to the people here? Why they give it to the paper? People that coming.
Okay, I'm gonna just stop it right there because at this point now it's talking about something else. It's off of what he said about black people. So y'all pretty much get it. Y'all get it at this point. But yeah, don't do the black and brown thing with me. Do not do it. Because I will not accept it. But I know some of y'all have something y'all want, some things y'all got to say. Y'all are very opinionated people. We got 546 people in here. We hit the 1 hour benchmark. So I dropped the link in the chat. If anybody would like to come up and say what they have to say as it pertains to this, feel free to go ahead and do so. Kendall said he done worked in there. I knew he would. That's why I intentionally saved that part for last. I wanted to get through all the news clips first and the news articles first before showing that, because I knew that was going to be the icing on the cake of this whole stream. And of course, first person up here, Wallow J.
Yeah, I'm not in a good mood right now after hearing that bullshit.
Was that your first time hearing that?
That was my first time hearing it. Man, let me tell you something. What goes around comes around. I won't be mad if his ass get mistaken as one of them illegals and get deported. I don't give a fuck. I'll shake my ass. Nah, I ain't gonna say that. I was like, I'll help him pack his damn stuff. Cause this is getting damn ridiculous. How they sit here acting like they better than us. You ain't better than us. You fled your own country to come up here to act like a goddamn fool. So we're the lazy ones. I bet. We'll show your punk asses how we really are. Shoot. I'm about to go pull Miss Deneen in a minute. I ain't trying to take a give Miss Deneen, but I'm just saying. They gonna fuck around. Did you? I'm surprised you didn't show that video of the. I don't know if you've seen that video of the cops getting her own stuff thrown at them in New York trying to arrest a migrant. Did you see that video?
Yeah, I talked about that in my live stream like 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah,
That's why that's why I didn't have it in here because I already had talked about it.
Yeah, it was another one I saw too. It was a story. I don't know if you saw it, anybody saw it. It was a migrant who sexually, I ain't gonna say the R word, someone that was robbing them, and then they let them go the next day. I don't know if y'all heard about that one too or not.
That sounds almost like one of the stories I talked about in this stream today.
Yeah, man, ooh, I can't believe they actually have the balls to say this shit.
Believe it, and we know where the talking point came from.
But guess what? Summer's coming, spring is coming, and PC better get ready because they gonna start attacking their asses real fast. They better not bring their asses down south because it's gonna be a gun show in a minute.
So they probably are already there. You probably just don't realize it yet. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. They probably already there.
Yeah, you ain't lying. This is not, North Carolina is not the place. The South is not the place to do this shit. Because these damn PC people around here will fucking will shoot your motherfucking ass. They already don't like black people coming in their damn houses. I know. I used to work at a furniture company where it was times where they didn't want us in the house. They would say, "Oh, just sit right there on the side of the house. We'll get it." All right, bet. Let them South of the Borderians come through. They find where your house is, or they come back there and rob your shit and kill you while they do it. Delete. I'm sorry. What goes around comes around. But let me get off here before I get mad. I appreciate you and everybody in the chat.
B1. Shout out to Wallow J for coming up. Next up, we got Kev C. What's going on?
Hey, hello, Mr. Rain. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, hey, good coverage on this. Thank you for your work. Keep up the great work and keeping people informed. So I know a lot of black people kind of stay in black circles, and we do that because obviously black people hang around black people, and we interact with mostly non-black people when we're at work, or maybe when we're buying something, or when we're out doing something or running business or something like that. All of that being said, man. This is one of the reasons that a lot of this stuff is covered is that all of this migrant situation started affecting black people in a negative way first, and black people started speaking out about it, and now it's actually spilled over into the white suburbs and all these other areas and everything else. So now they're making there's only a few people that actually really covering this, and people kind of have this thing like, why are y'all talking about this? Well, it's because it spilled over into I used to kind of come up on live streams with people of different races, so a few white people, Hispanics, and stuff like that. And I would say to them and say, look, we don't have any issue with y'all as long as stuff that you guys are doing doesn't bleed over into what it is we're trying to do as far as black empowerment and black progress.
Right.
They used to actually one of the things I noticed that they do on a regular basis, a lot of Hispanic channels, if you notice, some of the Asians ones too, because I subscribe to them to see what it is they're talking about, just to see if they're keeping up. And most of them have either in the last year and a half or so, they've either almost shut down, or they come up periodically, and they'll say something and then they'll dip out. What they're not talking about is all of these migrant issues. They're not talking about these non-citizen issues. They're not talking about the crime. They're not talking about anything. And when I was on these panels with these people, one of the things they would love to say is, "Oh, you black people, you love to protect the criminals. You're doing this, you're doing that." You know what I'm saying? So what they do is, and one of the things they never really did, and I was always reminding them, is like, hey, look, you have literally the exact same problems over there in your racial group, to include, issues of transnational crime. You talked about MS-13. You talked about, the stuff that they're doing when they come over and all this other stuff. And these are the same people that will accuse you as a black person of, oh, y'all got this code about not doing this, not doing that, or protecting criminals. I'm like, look, you guys are not only you guys doing the exact same thing, but you're actually doing it worse, and you're projecting your issues and problems and emotions onto black people. There's no studies, there's no statistics, there's no data that says, black people as a collective support criminal activity. There's nothing that says that. And the majority of us are not criminals. And I actually saw one content creator. He was actually upset because his issue was, see, now that migrants are doing stuff and these non-citizens are doing stuff and they're committing crimes, they're going to project all of this stuff onto all of us and blame every one of us. Yeah, you mean kind of like how they do black Americans? Exactly like that? Yes, exactly. See, people are fine when stuff like this happens to us. They're fine taking the worst people in the group, and we know there's everybody has a subset of criminals, right? and there's always a small percent. But it doesn't matter that it's a small percent. Black people and black men specifically are the only group of men that get painted literally with that entire broad brush as criminals all over the place. And I'm like, look, y'all keep messing around, the same thing is going to happen to y'all. And by the way, just so you know, when I was growing up, I came of age in like the 1980s. You know, went to college and stuff like that, went to the military. But my whole thing is this: is that it was a statistic that 1 in 3 black men were going to go to prison, and that was a guarantee. And now, because black men have actually caught on and actually, you know, started to actually understand the system better and how black men are targeted and attacked and all this other stuff and how we get set up for crimes and this, that, and the third, you know, did you know that the chance for a black man actually going to prison now is down to 1 in 5? So black men, so there's a decrease in the crime rate as far as about 45% for black men and it's about 70% for black women. So it's actually decreasing. And what's happening is that other racial groups are actually replacing, the prison population. So in the next decade, 15 to 20 years or so, you're probably going to see a switch or some kind of change.
Oh yeah, definitely. You got to think of the demographics back in those times too. Like back then, it wasn't as I guess you can say diverse as it is today.
Yeah, absolutely not.
So like I said, demographics back during the 80s and back during that time that you're talking about is way different. You're talking about roughly at least 40 plus years ago. So the landscape has definitely changed a lot since then.
Well, you also had the crack epidemic, mass incarceration, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And what has happened is black people and black men specifically have gotten smart about that. And they're like, hey, y'all ain't gonna get us on this one again. And if y'all want to keep the privatized prison and keep prisons filled, you fill them up with somebody else. But so shout out to black people for actually getting smart on that, and specifically black men. But I just kind of wanted to bring that up because I noticed that a lot of these Asian creators, the Hispanic creators, they've been real quiet. But when I was sitting up there on these panels talking to them and actually giving them information and talking about systemic issues and all this other stuff, here you go with the whining and the complaining. What are you gonna do now? That was in the past. I'm like, oh, really? Really? Okay. See, now when all of this stuff starts to happen to them, you see them very quiet about it. And then they're barely even talking about it. You gave you kind of challenged Diane Yap, and I've actually went back and forth with her a little bit. They love that per capita.
I listened a couple months ago. I finally got the nerve to block that chick. The only time I'll ever see her pop up on my timeline is if Kid Gravity quote tweets something or quote post whatever they want to call it on X now, some nonsense that she says, and that's the only way she'll pop up on my timeline. Other than that, I have her blocked. I think I talked about it. The last time I talked about her was right around the time that I ended up blocking her. So I said, hopefully the next time I talk about that woman will be in a triple P formation, because that'll be the day. I can't wait for it to come when I talk about her in that format.
Yeah, and I'll say this last thing. I know you got to get some other people behind me. So look, it's not that we, I came up in an era where, everybody, if we thought that if you were a person of color, a minority, you kind of were on the same page and you understood all the stuff that was going on. It's not that they don't understand it, they just don't care. All right. Their only issue is, look, as long as it ain't happening to me and it's happening to you black folks, I'm fine with it. Well, see, so when it starts to happen to them, they get real quiet. They don't want to say anything. They just sit here and, and get the beat down and everything else. And then, every now and then they'll pop up and, complain about it. And then they go back into hiding. And like I said, I just wanted to make sure that, we see y'all, that y'all are not really making an issue out of this. And and for all of these accusations about how black people protecting criminals, you guys aren't even talking about it. And the only reason we got to say something about it is that it's affecting black Americans, and we have to talk about it. We got to deal with this. But anyway, thanks for letting me up, man. Keep up the great work.
No problem. And shout out to you for coming up. And before I bring up the next person, one thing I forgot to mention about Chicago, and y'all can let me know in the chat, and because maybe I missed it. Have y'all noticed that ever since this influx of the South of the Borderian has come into the establishment and got sent into Chicago, that you have not heard stories about all of these phantom shootings that happen over holiday weekends, where they say, oh, this weekend in Chicago, there was 20 shootings and 15 people got shot and 5 people died, but we don't know who did it. Have y'all noticed y'all haven't seen that lately? Ever since that has been going on with them, you have not seen those type of stories push out there like that. Not saying that they haven't done it, but I haven't seen it. All right, let me bring up the next person. D Dan, what's going on?
What's happening, player? First time me listen, well, I listened to you before, you and a few other brothers and sisters. I'm in Chicago myself.
Oh, okay.
So, and I want to touch on that what you said the last time. I mean, the last sentence that you said that they're not talking about the mass shootings supposedly happen on the weekends.
Yeah, that's what I call them phantom shooters for a weekend, because I swear all these so-called shootings happen, but they never have a suspect. That's why I said it must be a phantom that's doing it.
Hey, man, I want to touch on that now. I've been now, I'm in the wheelchair. I think so. I'm paralyzed, but
okay.
Let me explain something to you about that. That's something they've been doing since I was a shorty. I used to tell people this. I used to tell a lot of elders, especially like in my family. Some of them used to work in law enforcement or different things like that. So I got law. I used to explain that to them, like, hey, anytime a nigga do something, they finna come holler at them. Even if they can't find an actual suspect, they will get somebody innocent and let the Innocent Project people deal with it after they been wrongfully convicted.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The reason why they haven't been telling about this story, because for one, the crime in Chicago is actually down.
Yeah, I've heard that. Mm-hmm.
That's been down for a while now. And not only that, I tell people, I say, listen, y'all started talking about Chicago is a dangerous place and all this other stuff, such and such. I say, Google the top 10 most dangerous city and Google the top 10 with the most high crime rate.
Yes.
Chicago ain't up there.
It's not there. And the thing is, you can Google that for the last few years because they do it every year. Chicago is never in the top 10. I don't even think Chicago's in the top 20.
Well, Chicago, yeah, it is. It's somewhere in the top 20, but it's not in the top 15. We're not even on the top 15. Chicago ain't up there. What's another city they talk about? Philly ain't up there.
Any major black metropolitan area,
it's not even up there.
Where there's a major black population. Like they like to bring up Baltimore, they like to bring up Chicago, they like to bring up Atlanta, whatever, maybe certain parts of LA, depending on what part of LA you're talking about. Any part of LA that hasn't been heavily.
Now they show that's California is up there, but it's not LA. It's like San Bernardino. How you pronounce it? San
Bernardino. Yeah.
Now St. Louis always been the top. The top 5 usually St. Louis, Detroit, Memphis, certain parts of Texas and New Mexico. It's none of these really major big cities that it's not a bigger tour attraction. So one of the reasons why and a lot of elders in my family, they broke this down. They said this even when I was a kid. They like, listen. You notice they try to gentrify all the black folks out of Chicago. Notice they only doing it in certain areas. Like you talking about, no, I'm from out west. I'm from the L town. I'm from the Ulster area, if you know what that is.
All right.
Certain parts of the South Side, anything past 55th going to the hundreds, they don't want it. Notice ain't no grocery stores on the South Side. Ain't really no real grocery stores. All the grocery stores are closed. Ain't no real the motherfucking ain't really no I'm getting my words, my bad, brother. Ain't really no, it's really no traffic when it comes to commercial real estate. All the commercial real estate is towards the Bronzeville area and towards out west and north. Whatever with a White Star Stadium at, that's why they gentrified Bronzeville, because it's close to the White Star Stadium. Out west is 15 minutes from downtown. And then you got to realize we got one of the top 5 best transportation service. That's another thing they don't like telling you. But here it is, all these tourists, they come here, they having fun and buying up all the properties and all that other stuff. But a lot of our elders some of our elders, I ain't gonna say all of them. Some of the elders, if they ain't get caught up smoking the pipe, some of them elders was telling us, like, listen, we know they're gonna try to gentrify us and try to buy us out or try to get rid of us another way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So this is something they've been doing for the longest. And I'm gonna tell you something else. The block that I live on right now, you'll have some abandoned buildings and all of a sudden it's a bunch of migrants in there. Then all of a sudden they fix them up and put a bunch of and stuff a bunch of illegal immigrants in there. So it's crazy. Even when I go downtown, when I flew downtown, all of them be like on the expressways on the corner begging for food. They either beg and say, hey, listen, we'll take a job, clean your house, doing absolutely nothing. But I was explaining to my family, I say, listen, yeah, they real cordial. Just because they nice to you, real cordial and upfront about certain shit, that don't mean they talk shit. They don't, when they get around they people, they talk all type of shit in a different language behind your back. So, I don't fuck around with it. I don't play them type of games. I don't play them type of game with the illegal immigrants where they start talking that shit how they was talking on the video that you, because I checks that in the note and I with all the bullshit. So it is what it is.
Right.
So I want to tell you, good job. I want to tell you, man, keep up the good work, and I'll continue to listen and support it. So
I appreciate it. Thanks for listening.
All right.
All right. What's going on, Goddess M? Goddess. Can you hear me? I don't know, maybe something is wrong on her. And I could hear myself, but I couldn't hear her. And shout out to the 546 people that's in here right now. I appreciate it. I don't know, for some reason it was a jump because I know my number got down to like 496 and it just jumped right to 546. So shout out to those who are in here right now. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Let me bring up Judah. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, brother?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Hey, man, I'm doing good, man. I'm a truck driver, man. And I had experience.
I can only imagine what you got, what experience you got.
Hey, bro, I'll be going to all 48 states, man. I'm trying to tell you, the Latinos, and I say, you know what, the immigrant groups. That's why I'm separate myself because I'm a foundational Black American.
Mm-hmm.
I separate myself from all other groups that's not us, man. Immigrants, man, they are some of the most cowardice people you ever seen in your life, bro. The way they kiss white people butts, man, and and the way they so submissive towards them, and how they so childish. I mean, the stuff I see out here, man. I had Hispanics dudes drive past my truck, throw stuff in my truck while I'm going down the road.
Mm-hmm.
I'd had a Hispanic dude get out his truck and walk over and kick my truck because I was out there clean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They got me a nice little Freightliner out here, man, living good. He hopped out so jealous and envious of me. He hopped out and kicked my freaking truck, bro. I'm like, man, what the hell? I didn't even do nothing to him. I'm like, man, did I do something to you? Bro, acts like he really didn't care. So, I mean, I almost went to jail that day, bro.
That's crazy.
For real. That's why I just love migrant crisis. I try to tell my people, like, what's going on with this migrant crisis, man, and nobody. I try to tell my family, but everybody's just stuck on that Democratic plantation. Like everybody, our friends, everybody got the same struggle. Bro, I'm trying to tell you, these people are not your friends, bro. They are not your allies, man.
Oh, we already know. I mean, you preaching to the choir when you say that.
I already know, man. I swear, I try to tell them, man. Like, man, look, hey, bro, hey, protect yourselves at all times, man. I'm trying to tell you this because a lot of these migrants come here, man. They see how we living out here, even though we may feel we don't have nothing. To them, they don't even want us to have the projects or the slums that we living in now, bro. That's what's crazy to me, man. They don't want to see us have nothing, including the doggone Democratic Party, man. That's what's crazy to me, bro.
Like I said, last year I became a registered independent in September of 2023. And I ain't looking back. So as far as I'm concerned, both sides can fight amongst themselves. Leave me the hell out of it. As far as I'm also concerned with the way things are going, I think it's safe to say, and I said it on Monday in my midday stream on Monday, I think many of us are going to be voting for the couch.
Oh, say it again, bro. I thought I was thinking about going home. No, I live in Mobile, Alabama. I thought I was gonna go home. No, so let me hurry up and get home so I could go and vote. I said, you know what, man, the hell with that. I'm always sit on the road, just make money, man. I don't even waste my time dealing with it, bro. Because the Republican Party, the one helped put drugs in our community. The Democratic Party helped destroy our families, man. So I could care less what either side got going on with me. I swear, man, because I know if we don't look out for each other, man, nobody else will. And I'm so tired of having it. Like like I told you, I'm a truck driver. I deal with a lot of brothers out here on the road too. I say about 80% of our people, man, are lost, bro. I mean, we gotta separate the wheat from the chaff, man, because a lot of our brothers they are straight up lost, man.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. Like I said, all we can do is
Mhm.
be the messenger. Like you know, like the old saying goes, you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So
Say it again. Say it again, bro.
what else can you do? Like we doing what we have to do. I
Yeah.
can't tell you as a grown adult. I can't tell you which way to go.
Mhm.
I let that be up to you. But all I'm saying is that we just putting out the information. It's up to you whether you take heed to it or not.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm gonna go get up out of here real quick. But one thing I'm saying, man, before I have to go, it's been weighing on my heart. And one thing I did notice out here, bro, there are women as a black man, as a black American man for sure. The immigrant women, they love us, bro. Not saying you got to deal with them, but that's some of the hatred and envious too. You know what I'm saying? They see how popular we are around the world. We may not see it, but in their home countries, they know we set the standard for the world, bro. They already know that.
I've always said that Black Americans are the trendsetters of the world. I've been saying that for the last few years, and I have yet to be proven wrong. When you look around the landscape, the global landscape, it's like they definitely pulled that from us. Whether it could have been in recent years or it could have been in yesteryears. It's always some kind of influence there somehow, some way, especially when it comes to entertainment.
Bro, check this out, bro. They Latinos, no Puerto Ricans. I say Latinos. I ain't got time to worry about them. I'm saying Latinos, bro. I actually looked up a rap video, bro. It was a black group that was rapping, bro, all the way back in the 1940s, bro. It was a beat that was rhyming on beat. I'm saying, wait a minute, what I'm listening to, bro? They was literally rap. We were been rapping since the 40s, bro. I swear, this like it's.
I think I might know what video. I think I might know what video you're talking about.
Yeah, he looked one of the brothers that was rapping. He looked like what's the old boy name? Lil Baby. He looked just like him, bro. I can't remember, but look, bro, we invented country music, jazz, R&B, techno. I mean, they can't do that. They really can't do nothing to us but lie on us, bro. That's all they can do is lie on us.
Right. You got anything else?
Oh yeah, you go ahead and take it right and get that off my chest, man.
All right. Thanks for coming up.
Oh yes, sir.
All right. Next we got the Prince of Paraphernalia. What's going on?
What's up, brother Torian? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great,
brother. What Juan and Abubakar was talking about just got me heated. I mean, it really got me heated. Now, I wanna roll back for the black family. Y'all remember about 3 years ago when Biden first got in, and they were talking about rewarding each family member with $450,000 if Trump broke up their family. Did anybody remember that? Because I heard it from Sister Lisa Cabrera.
I might have briefly heard about it.
Okay, check this out. That shit did pan out because a Guala Guala moved in across the street from me. Now, I'm in a colonial house. I'm, in the subdivision. It's one of the top models and shit. But this Guala Guala moved in they call this a bilateral house where it don't have a full basement like my house has, but you can still see the basement and the upstairs. It's a bi-level. That's what it's called, bi-level. That's like one of the cheapest houses. Now, before my wife died, she talked to the lady of the house who is a black Afro-Latino. The husband, he looked like the Guala Guala that was on your video, the light-skinned one. And they got 2 beautiful kids. Okay, my wife was talking to her and she was like, yeah, we just bought this cash. You bought the house cash? Okay, now peep this out. Within that week, the husband came home with a brand new truck. The nephew that's living with them came with a brand new truck. They work in the construction field here in the area. I know what company that they work for. 'Cause I used to work for that company before they started hiring only Mexicans. Because they've gotten all the black tradespeople. I was a carpenter by trade. They got us all up out of there, but I got hurt on the job, so I'm on disability. But man, yeah, they're getting this money, and we're not getting it. And what's happening in New York now? They're shipping them here to Detroit. Check out what's happening in Detroit now. The Chileans and the Venezuelans have teamed up here in Detroit, and they formed a crew, several crews that they're robbing these micro McMansions that the small hats and other high ranking people, white collar, they're robbing them blind. Some of them while they're in their sleep. So we got cat burglars. We done let in a whole new criminal class, and
That's what I've been saying.
just wait until it gets warm, because they're hitting them up now and it's cold. Now check this out. I heard a brother say that he heard he doesn't know what they're saying when they're speaking in their language. Okay, they got programs here because in Detroit we got a large Spanish and Chaldean and Arab. So if you got a translation on your phone, you want to get the Arab Farsi language, put your phone on, listen when you go into their store. And if they're talking about you, put your earphones in your ear. So whatever they're saying is coming back in your ear, English. That also goes for Spanish. Now I've caught a couple of a couple of gualas talking greasy. They weren't talking about me, but they're talking about another sister that was in the establishment. I haven't visited that establishment. 3 years ago that happened. Once I get mistreated or I see my people mistreated, they'll never see a red dime from me. And we need to get on code and just stay like that.
Definitely.
Just stay like that. But brother, I'm not going to take up all your time. I know you got people behind me and everything. But Black family, look at those 2 translation programs. Put it on your telephone. Catch them in the act. And hey, when they show their ass, we show ours. Black first, brother.
B1. Appreciate you coming up. All right. Next up, we got I Know Black.
¿Qué pasó, homie? How you doing? What's up? You want some taco, Papi? What's up, Papi?
That's why I started reading, because I knew it was you.
What's happening, Papi? How you doing, Papi?
What's going on, KG?
How are you, young man?
I'm doing well.
That's great. I know you're not finna what. I love my kid. Can you pause that for a second, please? Give me like 2 minutes, okay? All right, eat your fortune cookie. She finna watch this Bluey right when I'm about to go talk to you. You see this? But I gotta give y'all a clap again. Y'all are having everybody figure out who they are. No more cosplaying. It kind of sucks.
Exactly.
I can't
cosplay. The veil has been lifted.
I guess I can't cosplay as the Dipset anymore.
You crazy.
But this is hilarious because they want to be connected to Black society, but then when the tangibles come, I know Black, Papi. I know Black. So
right.
And you got Peoples Hernandez out here in Jersey just talking because Jersey got a whole bunch of Latinos, so he feels safe.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Hilarious. And look at this. Is this not the Black aesthetic he got going on here?
Oh yeah, like the cut, the earring, all of that.
Dude, I swear to God, this dude looked like any Guyanese person in Queens.
But it looked like he could be like in Washington Heights.
No, this is an Inwood look right here. He looked like he trolled for white women. But it's November 5th.
No, exactly.
Let me tell you
November the 5th.
If 45 becomes 47, boy, they gonna run like they ran in 2018 when he said, if we catch y'all here without your papers, you're gone. And let me tell you, them folk in New York, they ran, bro.
Like I said, I don't at this point, I told people I am a registered independent. I have gotten myself out the way. So no matter what happens in November, y'all can't say it's my fault. Because you know you got some of the people online going, they always try to do with the guilt trip thing. Well, you do know if you, and I've seen both sides do this. If you do know, if you are a registered independent, that's like voting for the other side. I'm like, what other side? You do realize there's, two other sides. So what are you talking about? But I know what they're trying to say. Is that guilt trip thing? I said, y'all can't do the Jedi mind trick thing with me.
That's fact. And y'all can do the guilt trip all you want, just don't fall because they'll take your wallet. And I gotta go.
All right, appreciate you coming up, KG. All right, we're gonna try Goddess in one more time. Goddess, are you there?
I'm here, brother.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened the first time. It's like I could hear myself on the echo on your end, but I couldn't hear you if you was responding to me.
Yeah, I had left the room right quick. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh my goodness, Brother Torian. You bring that fire and those master receipts as usual. For this street food vendor, disrespectful mouth about what FBA Friedman does and act like we're entitled and we complain about it. Number one, this is our country. We've been here indigenously before anyone else, as well as half of our ancestry come from chattel slavery. We don't have to prove ourselves. We don't have to give no resume because we're the indigenous citizens of this country. And you welcome for them allowing you to open the floodgates of our borders to allow you in here. This is why we need massive immigration moderation, as well as massive deportation. And like the one darker skinned man was saying, if your paperwork pans out legally and you've been here for more than 5 years or more, because let's be clear, they are getting these people illegal paperwork, they getting driver license, they're able to become armed officers in Illinois, and it's just ludicrous, given the green light to go ahead and get all our tangibles that we've fought for in every war, died for, and using our civil rights amendments that our ancestors and some of our even our parents, for those of us who have parents old enough, have died for in sweat, blood, and tears, and had to fight against all these boule organizations just to get things done. And then they come here with their sense of superiority complex, being willing tools of WS. These POBs or something else. And when I say that, I'm talking about all Hispanic speaking people across the Hispanic diaspora, no matter if they're from Chile, no matter if they're from Panama, or anywhere in Mexico, etc., Spain, etc., Venezuela. They all group together to a certain degree, although they have their own infighting and don't like each other, but they will group together to a certain degree to help be willing participants of tools of WS. And then you also have melanated people across the diaspora that's hitting both Africa, Haiti, all the Caribbean diaspora. I just say melanated diaspora. That includes them all. Who also team up with these people and have some type of work against us, but then they don't like you either, because look at how they treat you in their own home countries. They come here already with a caste system. They come here with a superiority complex, and that I'm better than you, nose up, all up in the air, but you just got over here on the taco and a prayer. I mean, it's ridiculous. And then for the so-called model newly white classified rice eaters, they simply allowed over 100 of these military age young men to come here a couple of months ago without uttering a word. Only the new black media spoke out about it.
Yeah,
And
because
then
they expected them to slip right on in like we wasn't going to catch it. See, you see what lamestream media typically likes to do? They will slip in the major news under the radar and then put a bunch of fluff pieces around it as
Indeed.
distractions, so you don't see what we should be seeing, which is this. This right here is a problem. And that's why, and shout out to Kid Gravity. He said, we got all of this going on right now, but if you look on X a couple months ago, what did you have those so-called conservatives on it arguing about? A damn calendar. For those of y'all who are not on X, yes, that was a thing for a little bit. They were arguing over a conservative calendar. While all of this is going on, that's what that was their big issue.
Exactly, brother. And then for them to have recently just arrested over 100 of these men, Asian men. I mean, it's ridiculous. And you better believe they're letting all type of ops and terrorist cells into our country. And that's across the ethnic rainbow of tethers they're allowing in here. No matter what their ethnicity is, they're non-citizens, and they're definitely non-us, and they're allowing these people into our communities, but yet the karma happening because it's spilling into PC communities, and now they're feeling the warmth of it. But they just wait. All these little TV series and all of their games and stuff that they love to play and have all these terrorist cell things too, and want to glorify going into another civil war. They just may get that, and it's not going to be in their favor because they opened our borders to this invasion, so they're going to feel the war. Thank you, brother B1.
Thanks for coming up, and shout out for Goddess for coming up, and all the people that came up. We are about to shut the stream down. Of course, I let it go a little bit longer because I knew a lot of people had to sound off what they had to say. But before we do that, let me go ahead and acknowledge the people who donated: Savion Draco Zero, Denise Scales, Jerry Bedford, Jab Bad, and Soldier of Judah. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to everybody that came through on today's midday stream. We had over 500 people here on a Wednesday afternoon. That is phenomenal. I think we almost cracked 550, but shout out to everyone that came through. Shout out to everybody on Patreon, the members, those on Instagram, Twitter, Discord, all of that good stuff. Thank you all for coming through. Be sure to be back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. The premiere video will be about Tiffany Cross's wake-up call. I know a lot of you have been asking about that ever since I put the poll up on Sunday, even though that one didn't have that many votes. But many people have been saying, I can't wait to hear what you guys say about Tiffany Cross. Well, don't worry. It's coming tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Be sure to tune in for that. And with that being said, y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe and be one.